All right. In this video, I want to talk about how we're being prepared for war. And this is not anything new. This is the same thing being done over and over and over again, right? Now, when we went to war with Iraq and Afghanistan in the Middle East, it's because of terrorism, because we weren't going to go to war with them for no reason. So they staged a terrorist attack and blamed it on the Muslims. Yes, 9/11 is staged. False flag to motivate you, the American people, the Europeans, to fight against the Middle Easterners because there was no reason for you to fight against them. So they had to do that to get you to want to do it so that you would sign up, join the army, and go get revenge, right? And if you think those towers came down by two planes hitting them, I'm not going to lie to you, you're dumb as dog shit. My dad was a combat engineer who dealt with explosives and taking down bridges and buildings and such things using explosives, and taught me a bit about how they had to put the explosives on certain areas of a building so that they could actually demolish it while it's in a city around other buildings without it falling over and spreading over and damaging other buildings. They had to be able to do it right there so it all fell on top of itself and not destroy any other building. And that's exactly how the Twin Towers came down, as a controlled demolition so that it didn't fall over and destroy anything else except for those two buildings. Not to mention, the guy who had the insurance and policy, who owned the World Trade Centers, also owned Building 7 and ordered that building to be pulled, which is a term in demolitions to destroy the building. So they already had explosives set up to take the building down. So, yeah, if you don't think that it was an inside job, that it was staged, you're naive. You're probably a coward, afraid to admit the truth about what your government did, and you're afraid to live in that reality. So you just kind of put your head in the sand. Before that, we had the Vietnam War, and it's openly admitted that what was it? I don't think it was the Lusitania. It was one of our ships off the coast of Vietnam was never even sunk. It was lied about to motivate the Americans to go to war with the Vietnam or the Viet Cong. Right? A false flag attack to start a war. Right? Before that, World War II. They allowed Pearl Harbor to get attacked. They set it up to cut off oil to Japan to force them to attack, and they left the old fleets because they had new models out, and they allowed Pearl Harbor to get attacked to motivate the people to want to go to war because we didn't want to. So they had to motivate us to do what they wanted us to do. So they did a false flag. Before that, similar with World War One, and before that we had the economic crash of the Great Depression, and after the war, economy started boosting up. So when the economy's down, you join the military so that they take care of you, right? Before that, we even got the American Revolution, where we dressed up as Native Americans because we were too cowardly to really rebel against England and throw out the tea ourselves. We had to dress up as Indians to throw the tea into the harbor to rebel. Basically, we're trying to get the English to end up fighting the Native Americans, but they weren't that dumb. So we got a Revolutionary War instead, and then we tried to play it off as if we rebelled against them and started the Revolutionary War when it really we were trying to get them to fight off the Native Americans, and it kind of backfired. And before that, where we get the term redskin, is from killing Native Americans and scalping them because they had long hair, and bringing that to the fur traders to show that you have been killing off Indians, and they would actually give you money. The government were paying people to do that. And that's where the football team and the baseball team started in Boston, the Boston Redskins. And then the baseball team moved to Atlanta to become the Atlanta Braves, and the football team moved to Washington and stayed the Redskins till recently. And it made sense because it was the government that was paying people to do that, to kill off Native Americans. And then the false flag in that, the false flag is to say that the Native Americans were scalping the Europeans, the white people. Right? They were saying it was the natives that were doing it to motivate people to fight against the natives and to end up doing it back to them. Right? Which is interesting because our Constitution, the American Constitution, is actually based off of the Iroquois Confederation, where they made a constitution to get the tribes to unite in peace, and we took that and made the actual Constitution for the United States. Some interesting history for you there. You know, these savages actually laid the foundation for this country for freedom. But anyway, so we can see the false flags throughout the history of America. You just got to pay attention and to think and not fall for the propaganda that America's the good guys. Captain America would never do anything wrong and is the shield to protect us and to protect the other nations, and we're going to go and fight against the bad guys. That's propaganda, right? I mean, we always think, oh, other countries would do these things, but our country wouldn't. Their governments would do these things, but our government would not do that. Not here, not in America. Well, you're naive and you're a coward because you don't want to face reality. You just put your head in the sand because you don't want to admit the truth. You got Stockholm Syndrome. Because what's going on now with these oil prices going up, the whole reason why I talked about this is because the oil prices are going up. Why? Because you don't want to go to war with Russia. So they're going to blame the oil prices going up on Russia. And what's that going to do? That's going to motivate a lot of people. It's going to motivate a lot of people to not only join up in the military, but it's going to motivate a lot of people to encourage others to do it. To be like, okay, we're going to go with Russia. They're not going to fight against it because they think it's going to lower the gas prices. And we can go back to normal if we could just punch Russia in the face. Right? But we do these things, we're just going to destroy our country. You see, with this whole pandemic that just happened, really hurt small businesses, and it helped big businesses become bigger and monopolize. And now with these gas prices going up, it's going to affect shipping. It's going to affect small businesses yet again. So it's going to really help the big companies get bigger and monopolize even more. And it's going to make it where there is the super rich and then a huge gap and the really poor. There's going to be no more middle class. People have been warning about this for years, for decades, and nobody gives a shit, and people end up actually going against that and supporting it. It's ridiculous. It really is. And it's all just hyping you up, manipulating you to go to war, and manipulating you into destroying the country because they can't do it. They need you to do it because we're in a free country, and they just got to get you manipulated into doing it, into wanting to do it. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I don't think making a video like this, even if it went viral, would change anything because I think this is prophetic. I think this is going to happen. I think America is going to be destroyed. I really do. I think we go to war with Russia, what's going to end up happening is Russia's going to end up taking out the areas where we have these defense missiles set up. We have defense missiles set up in countries around Russia. And what do these missiles do? They shoot missiles down that would be launched from Russia. So if Russia were to launch nukes at us, those missiles would intercept them. So it's a defense system, right? We don't have the capability of reaching them with our missiles, especially after Obama actually shut those things down. We have to have our subs get close enough to Russia to be able to launch, right? So that gives Russia a little bit of an advantage there because they can launch right from their country. And if they take out those defense systems, that some that were actually in Ukraine, and they do it in the other countries, they can actually launch missiles and destroy America. And I think that's what's going to happen right after the rapture. And I think that's coming soon. Just like when Jesus left and ascended from Israel and the Christians left Jerusalem, Rome completely destroyed Jerusalem. And that was the end of the age of the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel. And it moved to the dispensation of the church age. And the church age is about to end. The time of the Gentiles is about over. And God's going to go back to the nation of Israel and restore it. And when that happens, America is going to be destroyed, just like Jerusalem was. History repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. What has happened will happen again. All right? Just like I've been showing you, we keep getting manipulated into going to war, fighting wars for these rich people who don't give two shits about us, motivating us, making us think we're doing the right thing. Well, it's interesting because a lot of us are Christians, right? Turn the other cheek, forgive. The centurion asked Jesus, what can he do? And he's told not to harm anybody. And here we are, Christians, very easily manipulated into going and attacking other people. You see, Jesus lived this way, taught us these things so that we can't be manipulated. Because if you say, you know what, I'm not going to hurt anybody, I'm not going to kill anybody, no matter what, guess what? You can't be manipulated into doing it. Because you're not going to be doing it even out of revenge. You're not going to be doing it out of any of these things. So they can't trick you to make you think that you're doing the right thing and defending somebody or taking vengeance or giving out justice. You can't be manipulated into that if you let it go and turn the other cheek and not harm anybody and leave it in God's hands to take care of it. Then you're truly letting go and walking by faith, and you are innocent. You are pure. You can't be manipulated. But we're not like that. We're not like that at all. That's why we're going to get manipulated into war with Russia and end up getting destroyed. It's going to happen. I've been seeing for years people talk about Russia destroying America. Their nukes going off. I've seen videos from the 80s warning about it, where people having visions. And they were really adamant about warning people. Nobody really thought about it, especially when the Berlin Wall came down and the Cold War ended and the USSR collapsed. Well, here we are today, right? People are saying the same thing. They've been saying it for years, saying they've had visions of it, and it seems kind of like, well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But now seeing how these things are, I think it's going to happen. I thought something was up with all these shipping ships out on the coasts, on the east and west coast, not letting them in. And I was like, that's good cover for radar and everything, where enemy ships can pretend to be cargo ships waiting out to sea, and then on the order, open up those crates and there's really ballistic missiles. Also, submarines can hide among there because of the radar. You looking for different ships, and you can have submarines hiding under these ships. You won't even know. You won't pick it up. Just seem like it's the ship you're picking up on the radar. The shipping ship, that is. And then they can come up and they can launch their ballistic missiles. Alright? So, yeah. Don't know what else I can say about this. Just think about it. Pray about it. It's all coming together. But who knows? Maybe you get a little bit more time. May take a little while to motivate everybody. Gas prices might have to stay high for a while, and they might have to get higher. Really ruin small businesses. Ruin a lot of people's livelihoods. Big companies get bigger and monopolize, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. The middle class kind of fades away. And yeah, so then you're going to want to join the military. And when they do a draft, people aren't going to complain, and they're going to actually be pissing on the people who are draft dodgers because that they don't want to fight and kill people, especially over something like this. So I'm going to put this out here for all those that are going to end up dodging the draft. That I support you. And for all those who are going to be pissing on the draft dodgers, you can suck an egg. Why don't you go fight? Just shut up and fight. If that's what you want to do, you do it. Stop getting other people to go fight for you. Shut up and you go do it. Coward. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.